42 grams. Wow.
Yes, sir. One of two shaft options.
That would increase my club head speed to, what do you think?
3 miles an hour.
More.
Sound right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
67. Yeah, go
You
from
would
64 to
be
67.
105? You were over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 105.
That's why you would hit that too high.
Ah, okay. Well, we just put a smaller head on it. We'll get down into 3.5.
Yeah, get you a 4.5
You know,
degree.
4.5.
You want to also increase your club head speed. Just tag your shirt from the other night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Get everything nice and tight.
Yeah, it's a little bit too
body
cut
mapping?
for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Body mapping.
It was a little too much.
Body mapping. Good stuff. Connect the dots.
Looked like he's doing his ESPN game or his Nintendo game commercial. Or fitting. When
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right. Everybody good? Nick, you need a water?
6531.
Grab a water?
Sure.
At the golf
Thanks.
director. Hashtag just call Dave.
idea.
844-GO-GOLF1.
How do we
Just
look?
Call Dave at the golf director.
If I got any better, I couldn't handle it. You see, got wore his snake eyes shirt.
He goes PGA.
I get to wear different apparel.
See, I don't have a formal sponsor, so here we go. It is what it is.
Live from North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, TGD Radio presents the Product Showcase.
Hey, good morning. I want to welcome all golfers from throughout the world to a very special product showcase here on TGD TV and TGD Radio. With me today are David Gubbles from Golfsmith here in North Myrtle Beach, the general manager. Welcome, David.
Morning.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, it's been like 5 minutes since I saw you last.
I know. Miss me?
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. Corey Fields from the Callaway Performance Center at Barefoot.
That's correct.
Master club fitter.
That's
I
correct.
would say something else, but I won't.
Yes.
And
sir.
also a PGA member.
That is correct.
Yeah. All around good dude, too. I got to tell you.
I try to be.
You made me feel at home the other day at the Callaway Performance Center.
That's what we do there.
Yeah. So a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Also with us, very special guest, Mr. Nick Kruger, who is with Callaway Sales.
Yes, sir.
And you are the area representative for
That's
Callaway.
me. Yes, sir.
Glad to have you, Nick. Always
Thanks.
good. We had you on the program, about a year ago, year and a half ago?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
definitely glad to be here. Sorry it's taken so long to get back.
That was when
but-
the Alpha was just coming out.
Yeah, we were. There were some early rumors that hadn't actually been announced yet. But
Yeah. You
there
wouldn't give us
there
all
was
the
some
details.
Early buzz. No.
You held your guns.
Yep.
And then we end up seeing it, and boy, did it take off.
It sure did. That Bertha family has actually been the number one driver family in the market all year. It's been unbelievable.
Fantastic. Well, you've got a lot of new product that is about to hit the market and hitting the market as we speak.
Yes, official
And
launch
we-
day is the 22nd on the new V Series.
The new V Series.
Big Bertha V Series. That'll be our latest addition to the Big Bertha family.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about the V Series.
It's an unbelievable product, and it's really designed for anybody looking for additional club head speed. We're going to go about it, and we've gone about it with a couple of different features, mainly the aerodynamics as well as the overall weight, swing weight and overall weight. So
Okay.
both of those factors will help us gain club head speed for anybody that's maybe lost some club head speed or just
Right.
looking to gain more.
Now, when you came in and you brought the bag with you, which, I get like a kid at Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
when I see all this stuff. I pulled out one of the drivers, the new V Series, and I noticed a 42-gram shaft.
That's the new Basara Eagle shaft. Super lightweight, very premium, high end. It's been a very popular shaft. Basara makes a great quality shaft. So it's something that we've had as an offering, not quite the 42 gram, but this will be a nice addition to this.
Well, I've seen shafts down in the 50s, 50 gram, for example, but 42, I mean, are there, is it reliable? I mean, what kind of performance can I see out of that? I mean, it just seems like awfully light. Is it, I don't know.
It is. It's a very high quality material, and it's been a very proven shaft, Basara. We'll have a couple of different shaft offerings.
Okay.
So usually, or typically, the trade-off for something that is too light would be consistency, just because you don't feel it
Right.
as much throughout your swing.
Right.
Now, for someone that has moderate swing speed, they're looking for every advantage they can get.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, Corey made the comment, I could probably even swing 60-something miles per hour with that light shaft.
That's correct.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Does it come in different flexes now?
Yeah, different flexes. And then I mentioned earlier that there is a secondary shaft option.
Okay.
And that'll come in the stronger lofted head. So the 9-degree head is going to come with actually Fujikura Motori Speeder 565.
Okay.
So that will be an alternative for the stronger player, somebody that's looking for a little bit more weight so that they can feel it throughout their swing. So yeah, there will be different options.
Okay. All right. I noticed, too, here, I'm going to drop my computer screen. You had a white head. Tell us a little bit about that. Where did that go?
Yeah, I'll grab that. Actually, it's that driver right in front of you. Or no, here it is.
You got it?
Yep, I've got it. So this is our current Big Bertha driver. This is what we launched this year.
Okay.
So,
Nice head cover, by the way.
thanks. So
Look at
on the
that.
head cover, you can actually see all the different color options in the U design. So
Okay, whoa. You just lost me. Okay, so I have the option of ordering this club and then get it in these colors.
you sure do.
I can get pink.
You could get pink.
Dude,
Pink, black, gold, white.
can you picture the Godfather with a pink head?
No.
Just match your shirt.
No?
No.
I can peaches.
Thank you. Of course, Mr. Gilder from the producer booth back there with his comments. Tell me, this is the Big Bertha. This came out this year.
Yes.
It's got adjustable weighting in the back, across the entire back face of it.
Yep.
Give us a little bit of feel for that and what we're looking at there technology-wise.
This is an unbelievable driver. This is our best all-around performing driver as far as very high MOI because of the sliding weight track around the perimeter of it.
Okay.
What that does is it moves the weight back away from the face, which increases the overall forgiveness of the club. It also has our hyperspeed face technology, and that's partnered up with our OptiFit hosel system, so you can change loft and lie, as well as the horizontal CG with that sliding weight. So if you want more of a draw bias, you can dial it in. There's infinite positions here, so you don't have to click it into any certain setting. And then you can do the opposite. If you want more of a fade, you can slide that weight out.
Oh, so you
towards-
don't have locked positions that you have to go into. You can.
You can fine tune it as much as you want to. It's endless.
Interesting. And again, it goes from the heel all the way back, almost at the hosel at the shaft, up to the right behind the toe area. So that's taking the most advantage of the entire face.
Yep, it's 8 grams of weight you're sliding.
8 grams.
Yep. And then in the way that it's designed with that track, you've got 3 different walls on the sliding track, so that also pulls weight around the perimeter. So even though you might not necessarily have the weight in any certain setting, you've got all that weight that's on the trailing edge of the club, just
Right.
increasing that forgiveness
Right.
and the MOI.
Corey, help me understand now. We've got the Great Big Bertha driver with the adjustable capabilities of it, not only at the head itself, but up at the hosel. Now the new V Series. What am I looking at as an amateur player? What am I looking at as far as feature wise between the two clubs, and how should I make that decision on which one to go with?
V-Series is definitely going to be higher launch, I would assume. Also, with that lighter shaft, we're going to generate more club head speed like we've talked about.
Okay.
Less drag through the swing. That's how you're going to develop that more speed. Like you said, the guy that swings 90 miles an hour might pick up 3 to 4 miles per hour more with a higher launch angle. Ball's going to carry further. Mm-hmm. You could see a good 10 to 16 yards, I would think, with the right fitting.
Right.
So,
Now the V Series, rather unique. You put the emblem of the Eli emblem.
Yes, sir. You can't argue with physics.
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
That's the motto. And you can't. I mean, it's got the forged composite crown, so it's super lightweight. Helps us save a ton of weight. Plus, it's got a rounder shape to it. It's very reminiscent of the Great Big Bertha.
Right. Right.
Looks just like it. It's got the same scoring lines on the face of it. And it's also got a very familiar sole to most golfers. It's got the Warbird sole.
Good looking club, dude. So I'm looking at higher launch, normal.
yeah, and I know you had some questions about the shaft being too light.
Right.
The thing with that is all the shaft companies, have gotten really good at making lightweight shafts that are still stable.
Stable
Right.
with low torque.
Yeah, low
Right.
torque, so they don't twist as much, so you get a square club face still, even though it's lighter. So
Well, see,
it can definitely be a benefit for a lot of people.
Yeah, old golfers like me, I mean, we're used to the, several years ago shafts that, yeah, they did weigh 80 to 110 grams all the way up to 135 to 150. But one thing we saw that with graphite is down toward the head, they started getting real whippy. And so you really had to pay close attention to torque and flex and all this other stuff, which most of us, myself included, don't understand it. So the amateur player that walks in is looking for the master club fitter to be able to dial in the specifics of that particular shaft into the greater performance of that head.
Right. And just like Callaway has improved their manufacturing tolerances, so have all the shaft manufacturing companies. So that's where the consistency is coming from, tighter tolerances.
Yeah, but when you guys design these things, Nick, it's you guys are testing these heads with every shaft out there, I would assume. You're looking at a vast majority of the shafts to see how it adapts to this head and
Definitely.
what the technology is doing behind the face and then with the sliding weights and all this other stuff. So it's not like you just, okay, this company's offered us this amount of money off of each shaft and no. You guys take care of the R&D and the technology first, and then you work out the deal with what's the better performance of the shafts.
Right, and we've got premium shaft offerings. We're not using the proprietary shafts where they would actually manufacture something specifically for us to different tolerances.
Right.
Which has been the case for many manufacturers in the past. But now we're using the premium shaft offering, so it's something that you'll see on tour. You'll see a ton of this product being played on tour. It's also something that you could pick up aftermarket, Golfsmith. So, yeah, it's available, and it's an added bonus for sure.
And, Corey, if I come to the Callaway Performance Center at Barefoot, you're able to exchange shafts and look at my swing and what my tempo is and my swing rhythm and my launch angles, and we could really get deep there.
Yeah, that's correct. We have everything that Callaway offers for you to try. Obviously, I have a pretty good idea of what's going to work for you pretty quickly, seeing your swing and speed. And just,
you were real quick to tell
launch
me
parameters.
to take 2 weeks off and then quit. So
No, you hit it pretty good. We found something good for you. You can give yourself some credit.
yeah, well,
You might be sandbagging a little bit. I'm not sure.
sandbagging.
Yes.
You've been talking to Mr. Gilder.
Yep.
Okay. What do we got here?
That's the Mattori speeder shaft I was just alluding to.
Oh, yeah.
And also this, I believe, is the 9-degree head. The two heads are going to look identical. But just like Corey was mentioning, with a lighter head, with this club head design, you're going to typically expect a higher launch with a slightly higher spin rate. The 9-degree is actually the model that we've designed for the stronger player. It's what probably half a dozen of our tour players have already switched to, including Furyk and Patrick Reed. So the 9-degree, even though it looks identical, is going to be weighted internally differently. It's going to have a much lower CG. It's going to produce a lower ball flight with less backspin. As well as side spin. It's a lower spinning driver overall.
Okay.
So even though they'll both be sitting on a rack next to each other and look identical, that's where we lean on our associates and our master club fitters to know the difference and fit the player into the correct.
But again, as we try to educate our listeners and our viewers here at the Golf Director, it's not just the head, but it's also the shaft combination.
Yep.
I mean, that just makes a world of difference.
It sure does.
And you go to Golfsmith and you hit something in the bay and, it feels real good there. And then you get it out on the course and you go, well, what the heck? It's not performing the way it did. Well, that's why I like the Callaway Performance Center so well, because you find out what you dial in inside and then you can go right out onto the range and hit it there. And it just makes sense. So I don't know. We talk so much about shafts and the multiple options on shafts and the availability of shafts, and and then you see new clubs come out like white-headed drivers or whatever the latest craze is, and it's already got a shaft in it, and you just walk out the store with it. And how crazy is that? A 25 handicapper is not going to swing that driver the same way a 5 handicapper is.
That's correct.
You agree?
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. You made a good point. What you said about, the aftermarket shafts, the companies are doing an excellent job of testing things out.
Yeah.
Like you said, they probably tested hundreds of shafts.
Sure they had.
They
Yeah.
found what worked well. So even though you might walk out with a stock shaft, it's a good chance you're going to, because it's going to match pretty good.
Well, companies like Callaway has done the work for you.
That's correct.
On the different levels of handicap ability.
That's correct.
So a 25 handicap is going to hit probably this head this shaft. A 5 handicapper is going to hit this head, this shaft. And they've kind of got that. Now, if you want to dial it down even further, that's where you come into play.
That's correct. I mean,
So-
I think average club head speed for the driver for most players is somewhere between 90 and 95 miles per hour.
Okay.
Across the board, and that's probably where that fits into as a stock. Obviously, I get a guy that's 112, 113. We got to look at some different options.
Right,
And that's
right.
that's what we do there.
Exciting stuff, Nick. Great looking stuff. I'm excited for Callaway. I was around the days I was playing ambassador for the company back when the Diablo came out and that whole transitional period, and the IT, the big blockhead, the IZ.
IZ.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We had some different shapes. We're getting back to a more classic design for sure.
And I think across the market itself, all the manufacturers are making that transition back. I mean, we saw some weird looking heads there for about a year and a half.
Yep.
And so, and now those are gone by the wayside. Yep. So, but again, this is beautiful stuff. You've got the answer on the driver's side. I want to get into real quick the irons. You've got some new irons coming out, and hold on, I'm gonna have to check my heart rate here. So, folks, you're about to see something that we'll talk a little bit about it in my use of it at the Performance Center. But I hit a club called the Apex MB. The Apex MB. Be sure to go to CallawayGolf.com and check this thing out. This is a forged club that, as you look down from the top of it, it looks like a blade. But it's got such a classic look to it. But then when you actually hit it, it's got such a large sweet spot. It is such a game enhancement club. David, you happened to be there when I hit these clubs.
Yep.
And you made the comment, you've never quite seen my smile that big.
No, never.
And Corey, I picked up, 6 yards a club, 7 yards a club?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got
based off of my stock?
Yeah, we got a little lower spin rate, and launch conditions came down a little bit for you, like we've talked about. Your
Right.
launch is a little high, and that's
A little
why-
high, you think?
A little bit.
Let's talk about the MBs, Nick.
Okay, well, the MB is actually about to be released. September 5th is the actual launch date on the new MBs. So that is our most workable, most blade-like iron in the line. It's what we've got quite a few guys on tour already playing. It was introduced across the pond at the Open by Roger Cleveland himself to the tour players over there. So that's his latest creation. As far as Apex
This
irons,
is a Cleveland creation.
Roger Cleveland. He's been with the company for 12 plus years. now.
Fantastic. Of course, we know Roger, Mr. Cleveland, for his wedges. But however, he's just expanded that technology. And I tell you guys, for an amateur like me, you sit and look at the wider sole here, but you look down from the top of it, you don't see any of it. It is absolutely amazing, the design. But then that little muscle kick area right there, and I mentioned to you when I was hitting the demos, it just felt like the sweet spot was huge.
Yeah, it does.
Where with the regular blade or a regular forged club, your sweet spot's normally the size of an eraser on the end of a pencil.
Yeah.
And am I right, David?
Yeah, that's about right.
And this thing felt like you could put a softball down there and hit the dead center of it every time. So, you've got the Apex MBs, and then of course the Apex came out a year ago.
It just came out this spring.
Okay, so
Actually, yeah, I think these were launched in November. It was a 2014 product, and then the Pro model came out in probably January. Came out just after the first of the year.
Okay, all right.
This Apex cavity bag has been unbelievable for us. It's our best-selling iron, especially at fitting events, our performance centers. Anywhere that we're able to get that in our players' hands, they fall in love. It's very forgiving. It's a forged body that's married up to a carpenter steel face, which is very lightweight, produces very high ball speeds, but at the same time, you're hitting a forged iron that just feels unbelievable.
Right. And there's definitely a feel factor. No doubt about it. I mean, you see some of the press clubs, the cast clubs, and they've got a certain feel. But boy, when you get a forged club in your hand, there's a reason. There's a reason it's forged, folks. No doubt about it. Now, what do we have here?
That's
have
the Pro model.
Apex and the Pro model. Is that
Yep.
right?
So the Pro model is more of a typical muscle back design.
Okay.
It is a forged head, and then we've got the TPU insert. in there as well. So that helps us save some weight, move it around the perimeter of the club. So even though it's got a blade-like appearance, it's going to play more like muscle back or even a cavity back. The longer irons actually have tungsten plugs in the sole itself too, so that helps get the ball flight up.
Okay,
even
get
higher.
get it up a little bit higher. Okay, great. So let's break it down for skill levels. Okay, so I'm an amateur. I'm a 25 handicapper. Which club should I be probably trending toward?
It just depends. I think it's a little bit of a myth that if you're a 25, you have to play game improvement clubs, or if you're an 8, you're not quite good enough to play something like the MB. It's really about centeredness of contact. If you can make that, you can probably play anything. But it has more to do with your launch parameters, getting your spin rate and your launch angle into the correct category to where we can maximize distance. And with you, Apex would sound like it might make sense for you, but since you hit the ball so high already, it didn't. That's why we had to move down into another category for you, and we got into the right parameter. And you know, centeredness of contact, like I said, blades today, MB irons today, to me, they're more forgiving than they've ever been. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I think that sparked my excitement for the club because I've hit blades, you know, how we refer to blades. I've hit forged clubs before with the thin tops and the thinner bottoms and not really much at the back of it. And, I mean, I couldn't play with them, really. I needed the game improvement aspects of another type of model. But these, there was no issue of feel or transition, or I felt like I had to work the club to get it up. So now a lot of that's got to do with my swing, like you said.
Yeah.
So, but the point is too is I think it's across the board again another comment to where you need to have these things fitted for you.
that's correct.
Would you agree?
Definitely.
I mean, because a low handicapper can still play the game improvement clubs, just like you stated.
Yeah, that's correct.
So-
And we're going to fit you to your golf swing. You're not going to walk into my facility. I'm not going to sit there and change your impact position and things that you do. I'm going to fit you to how
You're not
play.
there to give a golf lesson.
That is correct. It is
You're
about
there
club
to fit.
fitting and giving
Yeah.
you the best thing to help your game.
Yeah. So, real quick, Nick, let's touch on another iron that you have. And I refer to this club as a utility club, and it is your driving iron. Is that right?
It is. It is actually our utility iron, Apex UT for utility. So that is a forged hollow head design. There is a threaded weight screw in the bottom of it to help increase the launch angle, but that sets up very classic. It does not have the bulge or the roll that a typical hybrid does. So that way it's going to allow you to shape your shots. It's going to play a lot more like an iron, and it's going to set up a lot more like an iron, but give you the forgiveness of a hybrid.
Okay. So, this is going to be like a 2 or 3 iron that I would have in my bag?
Yeah,
Would you agree?
that's a pretty traditional loft for a blade style 3 iron right
Okay.
there. We'll make it an 18, a 21, and a 24.
So, an 18 would be like a 5-wood replacement or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, or 2
Yeah,
iron,
or
if
2
anyone
iron.
still carries one of those.
Yeah. 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 I still carry a 1 iron, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Best snake bitter, you
Yeah.
just beat the heck out of them.
Good off the cart path.
Oh, yeah. Great off the cart path. Yeah. Waving down the cart girl.
Yep.
Yeah. No doubt about it. You came up with this. I assume guys on the tour were looking for something like this, depending on the course they were playing.
Definitely.
Okay. So that's where this came up from. Now, these were around years ago. Years ago. The bulk bottom. Hugh even had a different manufacturer of a club similar to this that he absolutely loves.
Right.
He can't play it anymore because it's off the list.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, long story short, though, is, he can hit any club, but he's got the iron look, the iron feel, the iron play, and so he didn't have to make that hyper jump into the hybrids.
Right.
Agreed. Although hybrids for an amateur like me was a huge game improvement. I made the jump 11, 12 years ago and never looked back. As you start getting older or your swing speed starts slowing down or you start pulling out because of a shoulder injury or whatever, I mean, it just makes – I see guys out there now that have a whole bag of hybrids, and I go, good for them. I mean,
Sure.
it's just –
No, I agree.
it's great. They're learning to enjoy the game of golf versus trying to hit a blade and, it's not going to go anywhere.
Right.
So, but what Callaway's done here with this is just basically taken a part hybrid, part iron, and put it together.
Yep. You've got a forged body. You've got the same really hot face that you had in the standard Apex irons here.
The MBs. Yep.
So yeah, it's a great club. I mean, it's still not for everybody. That's more the better player, more the niche type of product. But it's going to be the club that everybody wants to have in their bag for sure.
Right. Fairway metals, everything still copacetic there from where you came and met with us?
Yeah, X2 Hot. I think
Right.
we had X Hot in the line last time we spoke.
Right.
We were just about ready to announce X2 Hot. It's been phenomenal for us, as well as the hybrids. I do have a new fairway wood that will be coming out on the 22nd as well as part of this V-Series line that I'd like to show you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So again, this has
here we go.
the more retro look to it. It looks like a warbird.
Where have I seen the bottom of that face before? Oh, my goodness. I didn't see this the other day, dude.
I don't know. I think you were still drooling over the
Sorry,
irons.
Jeff. Yeah, I was drooling over the MBs.
Yeah.
Hush, Corey. Don't say a word.
We'll be bringing back a
Very,
Heavenwood
very traditional looking head.
for sure.
What CCs is this? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh.
I should.
Oh,
I should.
there we go.
Yeah.
I found a question he didn't know.
No.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
No, that's okay.
shafts, Becerra.
That is. It's slightly heavier. It's 52 grams
52,
versus
yep.
the 42 on the drivers. Yep.
Okay. All right. But again, the shafts are whatever you get fitted with. You have that option there of those different shafts. This is not an adjustable head.
Correct. Yep. That
Okay.
allowed us to save some weight. Again, being part of that speed enhanced part of our line, we wanted to make it as light but as consistent as possible. So that's why we eliminated the adjustability on the fairway woods. It's just with that warbird sole, it's so easy to hit from so many different lies. It's unbelievable.
There's no mistaking it.
No.
It's classic looking. It brings you back to days of old in this V series. But congratulations, dude.
Thanks.
This is a great looking club. I look forward to hitting that thing.
Yeah,
really
sure.
do. Because as David would tell you, I need a 3-wood.
He
So
needs one.
Yeah, I do need one. Real quick, you've got the Mac Daddy wedges. I just put a buddy of mine, the assistant pro over at Possum Trot. He came into David's shop the other day and was in dire need of a wedge. And simply, he walked around, he looked, and then he looked over and said, "Godfather, what's the wedge I need?" And then I said, "Well, let's call David over." So David came over, and David goes, "Look, you can't do any better than the Mac Daddy." And of course, we're both going, "Okay, yeah, sure, Callaway, okay." Again, he put this in his hand. He called me that night. He went out and played 9 holes. And he goes, "Dude, I haven't seen spin like that in years."
Yeah, they're incredible.
Not uncontrollable spin. He just said, if I hit a knockdown shot, I took it in high, I spun it back. He goes, I had the most control of a wedge that I've had in my hands in 7-8 years. And this is a PGA guy. So congrats on the Mac Daddy, dude. I mean, it's just a great looking iron. It's a great looking wedge. Tell us a little bit about the face pattern. It's rather unique.
Yeah, it has kind of a brick-like pattern to it, and it's actually just a surface etching. So what that is actually it'll wear down, but as the face wears down, it increases the roughness of the face. So with a typical wedge, it's the edges of the grooves that wear down, and that's when you lose your spin.
Right.
But as the typical edges wear down, the face is actually increasing in the roughness. So you maintain that level of spin even though the wedge is aging.
Interesting. And this comes in optional bounces. You can select your bounce.
Have different bounces. There's actually different sole grinds. That's our latest sole grind. That's the tour grind right there. So
with 9 degrees of bounce.
It is. Yep.
Okay, 9T. That's what that stands for. 9 degrees of bounce, and then the T
for
is
tour.
for tour.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So the Mac Daddy wedges were introduced last year. We had 3 different soles. We had the U grind, the standard grind, and then the C grind. So the tour grind is our latest modification, and that was purely from tour players' feedback. So Roger was allowing the guys to play all the wedges last year, getting their feedback, their input. One thing that was very common was that they liked a more squared off leading edge, a little bit more seamless transition from the leading edge up into the hosel. So you'll see that that's tighter now. And the C grind itself, because those guys are always playing on such firm fairways, they wanted a little tighter sole and a little tighter grind to it with lower bounce, which is exactly what that is.
Wow.
Also has a slightly higher toe, so it's visually a little bit more appealing to the better players.
Interesting. It looks like you got a mass there. There's no doubt about it. But then when you sit it upright, it looks like a blade. So great stuff, dude. Good stuff. Again, multiple options as far as grooves, as far as what you're looking for grind and things of that sort.
So the standard grind is going to be the most like what you would have on your iron set. So it's great for like probably either an A wedge or a sand wedge, something that's going to perform more like the irons in the rest of your bag. And then as you get into the C grind and the U grind, the C grind is a tighter sole. It's better for tighter lies, guys that are shallow through impact. And then the U grind is on the other end of the spectrum for guys that are playing in wet or fluffy conditions, or guys that are real steep like Mickelson.
Right.
I have that in my lob wedge, and it's changed my bunker game. It's awesome.
Right. Fantastic. Again, these available through Golfsmith, of course, out at the Callaway Performance Center, or off the website, of course. You can go there. But, again, you'd recommend have the damn thing fitted for you, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And wedge fitting is something that a lot of people just skip and don't even think about.
Absolutely they do.
But that and the putter are probably two most important things to have fitted, in my opinion.
Great points.
And at our facility, we can actually take you out into the practice area where we have a green that we can hit shots into off the grass, get real-world divot patterns, and I can really dial that grind options that he just talked about. We can find the right spec for you right there on the property.
Man, that's good stuff, dude.
Yep.
That's good stuff. Nick, also, I learned something the other day. We were out at the Callaway Performance Center, and I went through, and you allowed me to hit some of these new clubs, which I very much thank you. A lot of fun, and got me wishing I was back on Callaway staff again. My point was also Corey educated me that I was using an S3 golf ball.
SR3?
I was using the 3, and that he says, well, let's go to a 2. And when he made the transition to the 2, my launch angle improved, my spin rate dropped, and I picked up a little bit of distance. But that's just because of my swing. Tell us a little bit about the SR1 through 3.
Sure.
And it amazed the reason I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
People say golf ball is a golf ball is a golf ball. Not true.
No.
Folks, not true. And I saw the actual detail specifics of the performance between the different balls. It's not the 3 was bad. That just wasn't the right fit for me.
Too much
for
side
my
spin.
swing, for my ascent into the ball. It was not the right ball for me. So tell us a little bit about the SR1 and SR2, SR3.
So that's our latest tour ball series. It's our most successful tour ball series ever. And what we've done is design 3 different balls for 3 different swing speed categories. So SR3 or SR1, we'll start with the 1, would be for swing speeds under 90 or up to 90.
Okay.
SR2 would fit the 90 to 105 swing speeds the best, and then SR3 would be for the tour swing speeds, 105 plus.
Okay.
They have different constructions. They will produce different ball flights. So, for example, the dimple pattern, the aerodynamic package on the SR1 is going to produce a higher launch. It's also going to produce a sustained spin rate that's a little bit higher. So the guy that's swinging less than 90 is actually going to get more distance out of a little higher spin with a higher launch.
Sure.
He'll get more carry out of it.
Get more carry.
Yep. And then the SR2 is going to be right in the middle between the SR1 and SR3. So it'll give you kind of a mid ball flight trajectory, lower spin rate off the tee anyways. All of them are very high spin around the greens. That comes from the dual core technology. And then the SR3 is going to produce the lowest ball flight with the least amount of spin, especially driver spin.
And we were seeing that specifically with the irons. The 2 really seemed to kick in with the irons. The driver, I think the 3 probably performed.
Yeah, that happens sometimes because it's lower spin.
Uh-huh.
But compression-wise for you, the 2 worked better as an overall ball.
Right.
You just compressed it more, and it came off your face a little bit better and straighter.
Right.
With that less side spin.
Right.
A lot of times when the ball's too hard, that's a big issue is side spin. So we're going to get offline really quick with that.
Nick, real quick cover. Now, you got the SR1, SR2, SR3. What other ball lines do you have right now current with Callaway?
Well, speaking of spin, one ball that's been just a huge success for us has been Super Soft. And it gets back to that compression. The more that you compress it, the less it's going to spin. The less it's going to spin, as far as backspin, but also as well as side spin. That lever between the core and the outer cover, as it shrinks, is that core, or it's getting into like the R&D side of what all their product testing and what they've designed over the last couple of years. But basically, the more it compresses, the straighter it's going to go, less backspin you're going to have, and the longer it's going to fly. So the Super Soft is the lowest compression ball on the market. It's been the best selling ball on the market, for sure. It's something that has been just awesome for us, and retails for less than $20 a dozen. I think they're $19.99. But anybody can feel a difference just putting with it. I mean, you can feel that ball compress, hit it with an iron, and it doesn't want to come down. It just takes off. It's awesome. And it's going to help anybody swinging less than 90 miles an hour. Anybody swinging over 90 miles an hour is going to feel the difference, and they're going to enjoy it. But the average golfer is definitely under that 90 miles an hour, and they're just falling in love with it.
Right. So I look for that. That's boxed up how? It just says
red,
Super.
white, and blue packaging.
Okay.
We're making them here in the States. We've brought all of our tour balls. Anything with a urethane cover is manufactured 100% here in the States at the used to be Spalding plant and Top Flight plant. Now it's our plant up in Chicopee, Massachusetts. So we've been able to bring a ton of manufacturing back here to the States, which is
good for
awesome
you.
too.
Good for you. Yeah. Good for Callaway. I'm sure Mr. Eli's looking down and got a big grin on his face. So what a revolutionary dude in our game.
Absolutely. As far as the balls go, we carry all those in our hitting bay for you to try. So ball fitting is something we can do anytime for you in our hitting bay with your own golf clubs. It's something I suggest everybody does. And a lot of places you go to hit golf balls indoors and try clubs out, you're hitting balls that might have been sitting there for 6 months. No logo on it. You have no idea what you're hitting.
Good point.
And you really need to get fit with the ball that you're going to play, because it's very important, as we saw with you.
Yeah, and it's just like, you're getting the right shaft, the right head, the right grip.
Correct. It's all part of your equipment.
Getting everything dialed in. People ask me about grips, well, just how damn important. Well, that's your only contact to the club.
That's correct.
So I think it's probably the most important thing on the club, is how, how's that transitioning from your hands to the club? So I don't know. We could argue that all day too. So we covered the balls. What about putters? Where are we looking at now for Callaway and putters?
The Odyssey line,
very successful.
Yeah, you can't
Extremely
argue with
successful.
Odyssey.
Yeah.
So some of our latest additions have been the Tank series, the Counterbalance series. It's really taken off, especially with the anchoring band coming up. Guys are looking for something that's going to provide that stability and that confidence with their stroke, even though it's not anchored. So the Tank series is our first counterbalance putter. Tank. And we've added the Tank Cruiser to that line. The Tank Cruiser is the first adjustable counterbalanced putter on the market. And we're seeing a ton of usage with it, a ton of success, a lot of wins. I'll grab a couple here for you.
Yeah, go right ahead. So the Tank, that would be like the M1 Abram. I mean, now you you see, it's because of the weight of it. Is that the counterbalance reference? Is
Correct.
that why it's named Tank?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very stable. The head is 50 grams heavier than a traditional putter. It's a 400-gram head, and it's paired up
So
with
it's
the counterbalance.
true back-weighted.
It is. Yeah, there's a counterbalance. If you were to take that grip off, it's actually in the shaft. So it's not that grip specific. So if you wanted to take that off, put a Super Stroke on it, for example, because that's all the rage now.
Right.
You can throw one on there and keep the counterbalance concept and the feel of it.
Well, I see so many clubs now, guys, I'm going to go get a counterbalance putter, and they'll just put a heavier grip on it, or they'll add some lead to the head or whatever, And that's not true counterbalance.
No.
You need to balance it all out. I mean, it's the entire club, not just making the grip heavier or making the head heavier.
Right.
It's a big difference there. So, again, got the 2-ball lineup design.
Yep.
Best-selling
putter ever.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. I remember when that came out, and myself included and a lot of buddies, we're sitting there, and I remember sending an email to Callaway years ago. I had taken a magic marker and drawn a straight line down to just enhance my eye a little bit more of making sure that I'm center. That was all it was for.
Yep.
And then I was trying to figure out one day how I could take a, what do you call that, a bubble level, and put it on the top of it so I could make sure I had it heel-toe flat. You know,
Yep.
Corey, am I getting too deep here, bud?
No.
Could you tell I had the yips?
It's all right.
I mean, can we say it was the stroke and not the, it wasn't the bow, it was the Indian.
We're
How
all
about
set.
that?
We all do that kind of stuff. It's okay.
Okay,
I'll
so
trade you. So
this is
here's-
Tank
Cruiser.
Cruiser.
Yep.
So this is a Tank M1 Abram with a turbo in it. Got it.
Yes, sure.
How about that? Now, see, I could relate to this because it gives me a way to pick up the ball from the backside.
Yep. Yeah, you can get rid of the suction cup on the grip into your club.
Oh goodness! Don't get me started on the suction cup, Nick. The only time I've seen that used was at home. Again, the Odyssey design, but this is very much like. Is that the diameter of a ball right there?
It is actually any urethane covered ball. You can actually just press it down on, and it sticks right in there, in between the fangs. A lot of guys refer to that putter as the fang. It's our number 7
The
putter.
fang.
But they call it the fang. Yeah.
Okay, number 7.
Yeah.
And this comes in a variety of hosels as far as bend.
There's different
in the
head
shaft?
shapes. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a couple blade models. There's a couple mallet models. The number 7 is our best selling mallet model. It's
Okay.
yeah, if it had been around as long as the 2-ball, it'd be tough to say which one is the more popular model. That one is gaining popularity daily. We sell a ton of the number 7 models. A ton of guys on tour are using them as well with different inserts. The Metal X number 7 has been very popular. This Tank Cruiser number 7 is very popular.
Okay.
It's just so easy to line up with the 2 lines on there. And
Sure.
It's a very high MOI putter.
Sure.
As well.
Okay. And again, if they're using it on tour, obviously it's got great feel, great roll capacity.
Yep.
They're able to really narrow down their how much of a stroke they need to put on it to get the results they're looking for. So, so many putters I see amateurs out there. They got these huge, long back swings, and then they decel at the ball. And wonder why they don't make any putts. So. I think game improvement clubs such as this are a huge advantage. It seems like, Nick, just kind of wrapping things up here, it just seems like Callaway doesn't never lay back on their heels. We've seen so many game improvement advancements being made. Back when Mr. Eli was still alive, of course, he was the driving force behind all that, and everybody was concerned out in the amateur golfing world. Those of us that buy this stuff and play with it, we were concerned. And when Mr. Eli passed away, but without a doubt, I think he would be looking down right now, just absolutely smiling his tail off. A lot of work's been done here, and I think a lot of game improvement work has been done here. No doubt about it. I'm
For
very
sure.
impressed,
Yeah.
buddy.
Thank
Very
you.
impressed.
Thank you. It's the last. I've been with the company for 7 years, but in particular, the last 18 months have been just a great ride. Some of the new innovative products that have come out have been unbelievable. Getting back to a more classic look, so we're getting a lot more of those influencers, the club championships, getting it in the better players' hands for sure.
Right.
But the product is so playable, so forgiving, and so long that everybody is buying it.
And I want to bring up a quick point for our listeners, because we have a lot of female listeners out there from around the world. And my wife plays Callaway, and she has the Solara set.
Yep.
And I bought it for her as an introduction set. And she absolutely loves them. She shows them off every time she gets a chance, even though she doesn't play. But again, for the ladies, the junior girls, and all that out there, absolutely check out this line of clubs. No
Definitely.
doubt about it. So you see it on the LPGA Tour. You see the Callaway bags out there. The European Tour this morning was swamped with Callaway bags.
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, you've got your ambassadors on the PGA Tour. So it's definitely, Callaway has moved itself into one of the premier, if not the premier, club manufacturers in the world. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good having you, Nick. Thanks for joining us. You're welcome back anytime, dude. Don't wait another year and a half to come back.
It's been a busy first half of the year.
I bet it
It's
has.
been very busy. I mean, Callaway market share is up 28% year to date, which is unbelievable, especially in
phenomenal.
this industry.
That's great news.
Yeah.
That's great news. Well, hopefully we can help you a little bit more with, our amateur listeners understanding and viewers understanding what's out there and what's available. But however, as always, the Godfather recommends, go get a personal fitting. Go get this stuff fit to you. If you're going to make the expense right now, everybody's got discretionary dollars. So if you're going to make the expense of purchasing new clubs, which Callaway is first recommended, do so while getting fitted. And it makes it worth your while. Go to Corey. Go see him over at Callaway Performance Center. You will not believe his layout. It'll be so much fun. You'll be awed by just everything he's got available to him, software-wise, hardware-wise, to be able to fine-tune your fittings. And as you said, Bud, it starts at balls, putters, wedges. It's not just the irons and not just the big dog.
That's correct.
So it goes across the board.
Yeah, we want to make it fun for you. If you like your equipment, you feel comfortable with it, you feel like it's the right thing for you, it's going to transcend into you mentally on the golf course. It's going to make you play better. You're going to gain confidence.
When I got my first Callaway tour fitting on grass at a tour with a tour trailer, it improved my game 4 shots in my GN handicap within 90 days.
I believe it.
And that was huge
Yeah.
for me. So you drop from a 30 to a 26. That was huge. You know what I mean? Right,
Yep,
Bud?
I agree.
David Gubbles from Golfsmith, thanks so much, sir, for being
got
here.
it.
I always
Anytime.
appreciate your time.
Anytime.
And Corey,
Yes,
thank you,
sir.
buddy.
My
Let's
pleasure.
do this more often.
Yeah, whenever.
Yeah. I got a 12-pack out there. We can get going.
Okay.
All right, Dave. All right, this has been George Honeycutt for, of course, our product showcase of Callaway Golf, and what an informative, educational day it has been. I want to thank everyone from across the globe for joining us. And coming up after a short commercial break, of course, more interesting and intellectual programming here, all about golf from thegolfdirector.com.